Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eve and this is the buddy read for March that I'm doing with Claudia of Knits for the Soul and with Anna. And we have been reading Haig's The Midnight Library. So
blooper, yay!
Yes. Just so you know, this is definitely a spoilery review. So if you have not read the book, you should not be watching our video. Otherwise, if you don't care and you just want to know what's going on, then of course, this is a dog. We follow Nora. And due to circumstances unfolding, she will end up in the Midnight Library, which is a library between life and death. And every book that she has in the library there is a life that she could have lived. And that's actually what's happening in the book in general. We are following Nora trying out lives, so to say. And yeah. And in the end, there should be a conclusion. I know this is very vague, but actually that's what the book is about. So first, now our question is to all of us, what has this book given us actually as readers? We will get into the lives later as well, so you will hear a bit about the lives. But first, it's very important to say why actually we were reading this and what it has given to us. Gert, you are allowed to speak as well.
Okay, I'll start. I read this book in a quite difficult situation for me. I had just lost my job and I was facing being unemployed for quite a while, and I was a little bit down and really sad, and I really wish things had turned out differently actually. So reading this book and thinking about putting a reset button, or like in a computer game, saving and trying things out, this really spoke to me. I really felt with Nora and her wish to do things differently. So to me personally, it really helped me, and I was feeling better actually. I read it in a day, and after I had finished it, I was feeling a little bit better. Still a bit down, but my general view had lightened a bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you, Claudia, I know you were all over the moon.
Yeah, but can you talk first, because my dog is eating at the moment, so I would mute myself and hope he's almost done when you're done.
So this is something new. We did not have this on the channel before. So a dog eating, and that's why I can speak. I love this. So I bought this book because last year it was all the rage. Everyone wanted to read The Midnight Library, like from fall on, everyone was talking about it. Like BookTube did not have any other topic. And I wanted to know what is this about actually? What can you, yeah, there we can see the offer, Haig. Yeah, I just wanted to know what my perspective is actually reading this book. I must say that I have been reading loads of books that deal with difficult topics. Also with this, which the most important thing here, which you should know, actually I never give trigger warnings, but this has the trigger warning of suicide. And that's why we actually end up in the Midnight Library. And this is probably also why loads of people who have complicated lives or are at a stage in their lives where they do not know, what kind of way they can go. That's why they pick this up. And for me, it was in general, I did not feel like I was at one of these points in my life, but I know it from my past. So I'm always very interested in how authors are talking about this topic. And yeah, so I wanted to know what kind of lives we would find there in this book. and whether the conclusion, which for me was already foreseeable in the beginning of the book, would be satisfying for the readers actually later. That's why I picked up the book. And for me, it was like, as I said, it was not the first one that I read that had this topic. So for me, I thought it was a good book, but I was not like so overwhelmed with that this was completely new to me. I understand that lots of people read it and love it, and I think it deserves the hype, but I'm not on the side that I would say this is the best book I've ever read. So hopefully the dog is done now.
No, sadly not. So I'm really sorry if you hear him munching on his food in the background. Well, I was really excited to get my hands on that book, and I think we talked about to read this around Christmas time or the beginning of the year, and I was really looking forward to it and could hardly wait to finally read it. And I felt Nora very close to myself, actually. I've had, I guess, a decade of difficulties behind me, and they're not over yet. And I often think about what I could undo or do differently, and what would my life have been like if I had a chance to do that. So this was really very close to my heart, and I like the book very much. I agree it won't be the best book I've ever read, but I liked the idea behind it. I liked how the author made it work, and it's a really good book, and I'm very, very glad I read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could say that regrets is actually the most important thing in this book, because she actually goes into these lives to undo the regrets that she feels. And I understand this, that you say you could see yourself in there as well. I felt so as well, because I'm a person as well that is always focusing on what I did not do instead of what I did. So it was very nice to see actually these kind of lives that she can try out, and see that she actually doesn't have that much to regret in the end. But maybe we can go here into the lives. Was there any life that you thought was the best here, or also the worst? And what did you think? Was like Matt Haig actually showing interesting lives, or did you think like, well, Nora could have done, I don't know, just died and everything would have been fine?
Well, actually, I am so totally sure I would never have chosen that fame life where she is a superstar. I would never do that. It on the first glance, on the cover, maybe it looks shiny and cool, but I would never swap out for that life ever.
Yeah, maybe as a just for everyone who's watching, we have a couple of lives that come from so to say the things, as we said, that she hasn't done. She was very good at swimming when she was very young. Her mother died when she was young, so she was I think she had cancer or something like this, and her father actually was training her when she was good in swimming, and at that time, so to say, her mother was still alive. She also later had a band with her brother, but abandoned this idea of having a record deal or something like this. And her brother had been very angry with her, and everyone who was connected to the band, like, well, just had not the life that they probably would have thought. So she's actually very talented also with music and writing and stuff. She's working at a record shop, but actually the guy who works at the record shop cannot afford her anymore. And she's also not the most inviting person, let's say, because she's very depressed, and you can see that. And of course, it's not interesting for customers to see someone who's depressed who actually doesn't look like they want to sell you something in a bookshop. In a bookshop, it would be the same. In a record store, and that's why he has to sack her. And also, one of the possibilities that she had in her life was that she had a former fiance. She split up with him, and they're like, the thing that they were talking about was always like having a pub, an inn somewhere in the countryside, like Oxford or whatever, and living the dream of a tavern business, which did not come to fruition, so to say, because she split up with him as well. He actually wanted to marry her, and she said, no, better not. And
it was interesting to watch her go past that experience and see that it was actually his dream and not hers, and that she was only, well, trying to make it work for him and not herself. And I really like that. There was another life I would not have chosen. so I've been there, done that.
So in which life did you think was the one that maybe would have been as good as her normal life, which was not good in her opinion?
I thought the last life, where she was a professor and married to Ash and had this daughter, that was perfection. But I could relate in the end why she left it, though she was torn and didn't want to leave it. But in the end, from deep down in her heart, she did want to leave it because she didn't earn it. So I can relate to that. But that was the best life. Yeah. But in the end, I thought, I knew what would happen in the end. So I'm glad it did, and she could reconnect to her friend and to her brother. So it was kind of a very happy ending. Yeah, so it makes you focus on the good things you have in your life, and not just dwell on everything that might not look nice or feels as if you have failed. Yeah, so there's always another door that opens. It's really like that. I talk out of experience. Probably everyone does.
So Anne, what did you think?
I like the last life the most too, the one with the kid, maybe because I have a kid too, a small kid, and I could relate to all the feelings that came up, or the story reading and stuff, and the family life and such. But yeah, I agree with Claudia. She didn't earn it, so it was relatable that she left the life. I also like the one where she was on the North Pole or in the Arctic, and being a scientist there. That was cool as well. But I was also glad that the author didn't pursue the love story with the other guy who was traveling through his life, that he didn't pursue it further, that there wasn't a star-crossed lover thing, that she just realized, look, just a regular guy, text is not the best, just drop it. So that was cool, because I was fearing that this would become like she's chasing him through her alternative lives and stuff, but nope. That was,
thank God,
really good.
But Hugo is an interesting person. So her librarian was hinting at him in one of the conversations that Hugo is or has a special treatment kind of thing.
One moment.
Hugo is an interesting person. So the librarian of Nora tells her in some of the conversations that he has special treatment. So, and then that was when you put up your finger and wanted to say something, but that was because of the mailman. Okay, sorry. So you don't have a solution for me regarding that? Maybe Anne has.
I thought my headcanon was that he was just fleeing the end, because the librarian, Nora's librarian, tells her that she has to decide for her life eventually. And I think Hugo just gamed the system maybe, and found a way to live all the lives he wanted, or he made so many decisions. I don't know, but yeah, maybe he gamed the system, and that's why he.
Well, the
Or
situation.
maybe he cannot decide because he has this aneurysm and is in a coma, and well, someone has to pull the plug, I guess, and
Yeah.
maybe that's why he's like.
No, I think so as well. So
Yeah.
just for a clarification, Hugo is one of these people that is choosing one life after the other. He's not deciding on one life that he wants to live, and so he's life hopping. And Nora is actually meeting him in, I think, 2 lives that she's trying.
At least.
And
Yeah.
because we were talking about the librarian in the Midnight Library, Nora is, of course, guided by a librarian, because it's that way. And probably Hugo has someone in this gaming or video store or whatever, a salesperson, that is guiding him through his lives, something like this. But yeah, just so Hugo is one of these people she always meets again, and he is, as far as we get the information, probably lying in a coma somewhere. And so to say, even more between life and death maybe than Nora is. And maybe it's even more out of his hands than Nora is, because as we know, if you're in a coma, we try to keep you alive. And there is no way that you can actually get out of it if your body is not dying. And the waking up, so to say, is, I don't know, I haven't studied biology, but I don't know whether you can make someone, if it's a real coma and not an artificial one, I think you cannot make someone wake up. It's either that the body does it or it doesn't. And so with him, it's like, actually, he can hop as much as he wants, because it seems like
actually
he cannot do anything about it. So yeah, what was there a life? I thought that because these lives are all connected to regrets, and I had the feeling that that's why none of these lives are actually the lives that she should have been chosen. I, just to clarify as well, because we were talking about the last life that we have in this book with Ash. Ash is one of the neighbors in, I think, in the town where she's living, and he's like a surgeon. Was that right? He's like a surgeon, and in the on her last evening, he's meeting him. I do not say in which connection, but it's not that she really knows him, but he's as nice as to inform her about a little tragedy that is connected to her own life. And he's, so to say, in the last life, she's married to him, and she has a daughter, and she, as Claudia already said, is a professor in what's Cambridge, yeah. And she's researching for a book. That's what we get from this life. And actually, she's, so to say, thrown into this life and tries to navigate the kinds of, the hours that she is in the life, actually. I personally did not find this very attracting to myself, but that's just because I am not a friend of a fan of this family life thing. So I thought like it's more the when she was at the North Pole being a glaciologist, I thought this quite interesting. I thought she's doing something good, and some a purpose for the world, because she tries to find out why they are melting. Is it climate change? Everything that's very important to us, to all of us, not just as a personal person. Very nice. But I was not thinking about being married to Ash and having a child, and yeah, the child was nice and everything. It's not like that you know, I can't understand why people can connect to it or think, oh, it would have been great if she had this life. But for me, it was not giving me personally something. And there is also some, we already get like into my problematic situation that I had with the book, which is one of the criticisms that I have. It gets repetitive because, of course, she's always thrown into a life. She doesn't know where she is, who she is, what she's doing, what she's about to say, which was excruciating with the life where she was a professional retired swimmer and is giving like
motivational speech
in
like,
front
oh,
in front of like thousands of people, not knowing what she actually would talk about because she's not this person and has no idea what she's talking about. And it was like it's one of my most like horrible nightmares to be somewhere you don't know why you are there, who you are, and what you wanted to talk about, and everyone is expecting you to say something important. And so you had like in all of these lives, that's what was a bit annoying for me in the end. She always had to ask the same questions. She always had to try to like wiggle her way through the situation. Like also when she was a singer, she didn't know what the like the lyrics were. Yeah, great. You're going on stage like with a huge concert you're having and you don't know what you're singing about. And the only thing that you can do is do a cover song because it's the only thing that you remember. And
yeah, but she got it right, so well, it was
yeah,
good.
but I mean, it's just, you know,
that's what we're doing every day in our lives. We're just trying to get through.
Yes.
But
maybe
that was
maybe
my
it's concert stage, maybe it's every day. Yeah. I actually like that a bit. I mean, I get why you think it's repetitive and stuff, but I liked it because I found she was rather quick to adapt to the situations. With some, she was a little bit better. With some, she was not as good, but I really liked her, how quickly on her feet she was sometimes and was like, okay, I'll have to do this. And yeah, with the speech, okay, it didn't turn out so well, but I thought she was a great mom, for example. So, yeah.
Yeah, she did well in a lot of those lives, and I think she must be a really intelligent and capable person, which she, well, has to realize herself. So I think not everyone would have fared so well as she did, and yeah, but I agree with Anna. I like that a lot, and in a couple of those lives, I would have just, oh my God, ran away, like peed my pants or whatever. It was somewhere so scary. And yeah, so I think maybe a lot of people will like the last life with Ash, but basically because of the calmness of it, the stability, the harmony in it. So because it's safe. So because this is what many people well want or would like to have in their lives. I think that is why they or many people would tend to that and probably would want to choose her in the end and hope that she's staying there, yeah, because of that well, I think wish they themselves have as well. So I'm not sure. I liked the glaciologist life as well, and also that life with Ash, and a couple of them where it's in the last third, I guess, where she's just rattling down what she did in a row. So a couple of them were also nice, but it's true that she was just undoing regrets, and this is actually not what life is about, to undo regrets, but just to live. Yeah. So and yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but I also think that the most important thing that is leading to the conclusion in the book then as well is that she decides, why is she not staying in the life? with Ash, right?
Which is so perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, because not just that it's very perfect, it's also because she thinks she hasn't earned it. So that means she has never, I don't know, she has never been a good person to attract Ash, so to say, and then, you know, they get married. Why do you get married? Because you love someone. She has never been the person that, you know, was doing this. It was another Nora and not her. It was also another Nora that was pregnant and, you know, gave birth to this child and has been caring until this point for this child. And also, like, because she's a professor, has had very good, maybe probably very good students. And now she's, if she is at Cambridge, she must be very good. So everything that this Nora has been doing up until then has not been her. And to decide, I cannot take it away from the other Nora. I have to go back either into my own life or find a different life that is not as, I don't know, as stable or as complicated or something like this, to say that I do not deserve this at this point, but maybe something like this later in my own life. That's, so to say, I guess, the conclusion that she had. To leave this behind, I think, is very brave. And that's why we end up in the Midnight Library that is collapsing, burning, exploding, whatever, because she gets back to her life. That means she's not dying. And she has the situation that she's back in her life. She's has tried to commit suicide, but, and then. So what did you actually think about the conclusion that this book gave us? Because as I said, I could see it already in the beginning where he was going to. And so I was just, in a way, I enjoyed the lives, but I knew what he wanted, right? If you're a bit like unsure what in the end will be the finish of this book, then you maybe are much more anticipating, you know, which way we are going. So how did you feel about this?
So it took me a while to get to the end, or to suspect where this might go, because I'm slow with stuff like this. My husband is like you; he has the mind of a script author on TV series or movies. He always calls the twist. So, and I was like, how do you know that? But around the last third of the book, I was like, will she end up in her original life? And then was the last perfect life, and I was like, I'm wrong. No, I'm not. Damn it. So yeah, it took me a bit by surprise, but just a little bit. And Claudia, what did you feel?
Yeah, I had an inkling that she would return to her root life when they were talking about that book of regrets, etc. So I thought, okay, so this is kind of the Christmas Carol. So they're checking what went wrong and what can she learn out of it, and then going back to her root life, to her original life, and see that she can work with it, and she has it in her own hands to make it work, to make it better, to, well, chase her dreams and make them come true. So I think this is the main message, that even if something feels really horrible, that there is some light at the end of the tunnel, that you can make it work, and that also many decisions lead to an outcome that is not all bad, not 100%. So if you decide to move to a city or not, can lead to meeting people you don't want to live without, or something like that. And even if you would undo some aspect of that life, maybe it would also destroy the other part of it, where you have friends, for example, or something else that you achieved. So yeah, I think it was a good revelation for her to spend the time in all those lives and see, actually also see what she is capable of, that she can have trust and faith in herself and her capabilities, and yeah, make something work. Yeah.
I thought what was interesting as well, which is connected to what you just said, is it's not just the people that you might meet, for example, in even if it's not the perfect life that you chose. It's also that if you don't choose it, you will also remove yourself from the lives of the people you would have met. And that
Exactly.
means that the other person included here, every of your choices is also making a choice about other people's lives. And I thought this is something that we as a human race, I think, never think about. We never think about the people we do not meet and the impacts we will not have on their lives. I mean, it's a big construct. I understand that we as people cannot always think about it, right? But I think it's very interesting to focus on that and just, have a minute to think about that. Because I think we all had this in our lives, that we met someone and we regretted not having, I don't know, a contact with this person because we did not make a choice, like, I don't know, I did not speak to that person, because you have the feeling there could have been something added to your own life. And you never know whether this other person might have thought the same. And I thought this is a very interesting aspect that he brought into the story, to focus on. And so we have Nora in the end waking up, deciding that she does not want to get rid of her life, and trying to connect to all of the people that actually have been part of her life, but she has neglected for a long time. I thought here the author in the end was a bit like, okay, I give the audience everything that they want, because I thought it was in the end a bit easy, a bit effortless. Why is her friend Izzy just texting back right now, right? Or why is her brother, I mean, it's a reaction, it's a human reaction, that someone who sends you a message and it looks like this person is very depressive or might be doing something to themselves, something bad. It's a human reaction to jump on that and say, no, wait, we haven't been talking for 2 years, but, because we want to protect someone from what they might be doing to themselves. So, but I thought, with Izzy, for example, it was like, yes, they had this like, oh, I show you a picture of the whales in Australia and woohoo. So they had this before, but they haven't been talking for a long time. And I thought to rush all of this into the end, to say, that, that she found the librarian again in the real life, who's an old lady now, or that her brother really comes rushing to her side, and also that Izzy is texting back. I thought it was a bit too much. He could have been her brother. I get that, because that's, I understand.
Yeah.
But with Izzy,
Yeah.
at least, she should have, for me, it was like, I wanted her to do something. I wanted her to, to wake up and say, okay, today I will text Izzy and I will tell her, can we have, like, I don't know, communication again? Or how is it? Something like this. No, in the story, it's Izzy coming back to her. It's like, I understand she has been going through all of these lives and also hardships that we have lived with her, right, in this book. But in the real life, in the active life, she hasn't been doing anything. And I thought that this was like a negative point for me, which is why the book is not rated higher for me. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Sounds very low, but it's not actually, but it could have been higher if he would have shown a bit more realism there in the end. I know it's like, okay, magic realism book, blah. So, oh, we have another kid here. First we had a dog, now we also have a kid in the video. Real life.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I really well, I thought that the part with the brother reuniting was relatable. So he is telling her that he was in a funk and that he was behaving stupidly. So I think that worked out well. I must confess, I don't really remember the thing with the best friend. But didn't she read something on social media? But I'm not sure. Yeah, so yeah, that might be that, but it's something I actually overlooked and didn't put too much mind on it, because the whole message of she's coming back and she's taking her life into her own hands and doing something with it. Yeah, and seeing what she herself is worth. Yeah, that was more important than how the book was really wrapped up with that. So maybe it was a bit too lovey-dovey, but yeah, well, never
It's a
mind.
feel-good book. We can get everything out of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
opinion.
It makes you feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just wanted to bring this up because everyone is reading something else, right? That's why I wanted to know, did you, I don't know, did you read it like this as well? Was it bothering you or not? As I can see, it wasn't. So I guess loads of people felt like you guys, right? Because you never hear a criticism like this in the reviews, at least not what I have read and heard so far. And this is fine. It's just, for me, it's a technical thing. I think it's probably because I'm writing myself and I always think like, nah, that was too easy. But yeah, that's just what I thought. And yeah, I think that it's absolutely valuable to read because it is about the value of life, about the value of every life, and not just the perfect one or the successful one, for example, or the one that where you are idolized. And I thought that he wanted to show that the ordinary life, because I mean, sorry, but she's living in Bedford. I think probably only UK residents understand that now. I'm sorry
Okay.
to everyone who's living in Bedford, but yeah, it could be more exciting, actually. But that's the thing, you know, Nora is like you and I, and then you always think your neighbor has nothing to tell because we are all just ordinary people. And then you see in this ordinary life, in all the backstory that we get, there's so much we don't know about our neighbors. We don't know that she was interested in glaciers when she was a child, that she could have been maybe very good in swimming and maybe a professional athlete. She could have been a star, a musician, because she has it, but she wasn't. She ended up in a record store. And for that, to see that there is more to the story, to everyone, and that it is up to your own decisions and also your own bravery, whether you go this way and you do what you maybe are fearing at the moment. So now she has the contact with her brother as well, again, and she has the contact with her friend in Australia again. Maybe now she can travel to Australia because she has her friend there, and they will go, I don't know, on holidays together. And that's already new experiences that they get together. And with her brother, right? You don't know, he's living in London. She could move to London as well. Nothing against Bedford, but
well, she has a whole new view on her life and the world around her. So I think this is the benefit she gets out of it. So if you compare it to the Christmas Carol, that is what the message is about. Yeah, right. So also to connect to those around you. Yeah. What I am curious about is, because this is the first book I've read by the author, would you read others by him?
Anne?
Yeah. yeah, if the plot is interesting, or you know, the blurb on the back of the book is appealing, I would give it a try. Yeah, I know there's one. I follow him on Instagram, and I know he has announced a new book which is due soon or already out. So I might
It's
look out.
available now, the comfort book.
Okay, yeah. I might
Yeah.
look out for it, and if it sounds interesting, then I will read it. But yeah, it's not like I have to read another book. It's more like, yeah, interesting guy.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
eyes on him. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And
And
you?
you?
It's just like because I'm reading a lot, as you know, and I also review a lot, and there is a lot on my list that I feel for me I don't have I don't need a feel-good book. I know this sounds hard now, but I understand why people read this and why it's also good if you read it, because then you have, that's why it's a feel-good book, you have a different perspective later, at least for a certain amount of time, because lots of people after that need another feel-good book to get into this vibe again, right? For me is so far I haven't seen something that I'm interested in like the blurbs that I've read from the other books that he had. But he's an established author. It's not his debut, so you never know. For me, it was really this topic that I was interested in, and it was because it's a dark topic that people want to avoid, and that's also something that's typically for me. I always go where it's hardest. Also, even in fantasy, I always like where it's darkest. And I don't have the easiest of stories that I actually follow, even if I have like what I think is a page turner. I still go where it's darkest and more complicated. So for me at the moment, I would say no, but that doesn't mean that this is in general, and it has nothing to do with the author. It's just because of the kinds of books that he's writing that I do not feel compelled to read the next thing, so to say. It's
Okay.
I guess that he will have found new customers and new lovers of his books through this book, and I'm happy for that. I can absolutely see this, and it was recommended also in the bookstore when bookstores were still open. And it was like, it had like, I think a whole, if I remember correctly, in my favorite bookstore in Waterstones at Piccadilly, it was a huge table that they had just with this book. And it was always like, whenever you went there, it's like they restocked it because so many people were reading it and buying it. And it was like even on sometimes on a waiting list, that because it was sold out, you wanted to have this book, and then it's like, it's going like a wheel. So I'm happy that lots of people have picked it up, and that they are not shying away from this. Oh my God, this person, she wants to kill herself, and this, because it's a trigger thing. It's like lots of people don't want to read something like this in a lockdown, right?
Yeah.
But especially in a lockdown, now it was interesting to people because lots of people were depressed, and lots of people did not know which way to go in their lives and what to change, because you cannot change the pandemic. It's like it's changing your life,
Yeah,
but
you
you
don't
cannot
have
change
control.
anything. And that's what Nora thought as well, that everything was always out of her control, and that at that moment, so to say, when her cat died, because that was the trigger for all of this, which sounds so easy, but it's not. I completely understand that this was sort of like the last creature, so to say, that had contact with her and wanted contact with her.
Yeah, where
even
there was
that
love
creature
between
couldn't survive, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that he will have loads of people in the future that pick up his books, and also his older books. Yeah, for me, it was still worth reading it. As I said, I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. What would you give as a rating?
Oh my gosh,
5 stars
what
would
did
be
I...
like awesome, and 1 star,
Well, in my Goodreads, I gave 5 out of 5. Yeah.
And you, Anna?
I would go a little bit lower. I would say 4 out of 5 because of the ending and the small things.
Yeah, I neglect that. So it's that they were not important for me because the whole emotion or yeah, the emotional uplift it gave me, it was enough to give all the stars, so I didn't subtract anything. Yeah, so but I totally agree
unhappy child in the background.
I totally agree with you that it's a book, well it's at the perfect, it has the perfect timing. Yeah, so in the current situation. I've read another book last year in autumn, I think, which was advertised as a summer feel-good book, and I really liked it. It was something about body positivity. So because the female heroine is overweight, and how yeah, overweight people are depicted and how they are seen and see themselves, etc., etc. And that was a really good book. And this one, and also the Midnight Library, it might have had the stamp of a feel-good book, but it gives you so much to take with you and to think about nonetheless, if you know what I mean. So I'm really thinking about, okay, if I were in her situation, so I'm not thinking about ending my life, my God, but so would I want to go to the Midnight Library? Maybe not with a pretext of that of a suicide or something else that would send me there, but would I go there, and would I want to check out all those lives or whatever? Yeah, so but it gave me a lot, and yeah, so it came out at the right time.
But would you go?
Well, not after reading it. So after reading this, I can see for myself, I see some things that I might regret, but I also see what those decisions gave me on you know, the positive side of things. So I wouldn't want to undo them. And it's from this current point on where you can change your life, or well, do something different and see what comes out of it. So yeah, if I were to, let's say, go back in time or something and change something profound, well, you two know probably what I'm talking about, it would bereave me of many wonderful people and of a lot of experiences that yeah, that I would regret not having. So yeah, I don't know if there was a book, I don't know where I was, I don't know, like where you would do something cool and I don't know, like adventurous, jumping off houses, cliffs, or whatever, or
Wonder Claudia,
being an astronaut, or you know, things you are really sure you would never do in your original life. Yeah, deep diving somewhere in the ocean. Yeah, like really exotic, strange, weird things. I would just try them out because they would be safe, because I would come back to the library and go back to my life. But yeah, I don't think I would choose a different life.
Would you, Anna?
I believe that if I could change my life and all the decisions, the major or minor decisions that would have an influence on my life, I would end up roughly at the same point, I guess. So I think I wouldn't do it as well. I think I would always have ended up with a nice guy and a kid and a house and a garden. So the details might differ, but I think I would always lead the same life. And you know, details might have changed. I might have lived in another town and have another set of friends. Yeah, but the rough thing would be the same. So I don't know. No, I guess not. No. And what Claudia said, yeah. After reading the book, I also would probably choose my original life as well. So
yeah. So not to miss all the good things, you know, that are in there. I mean, Nora didn't see those good things before she went to the library, and just knowing the blurb of the book and waiting to finally start to read it for the buddy read, I was really thinking about that, the different lives and what I would undo and stuff like that. But so if we had this conversation before reading the book, I might have said, yeah, of course, and I would undo this and this and this and this, and would have a life that would look differently like that. But yeah, now after reading it, it's different.
You're cured of it. Well,
yeah, because it makes you see, or it opens your eyes to what you well overlook. Yeah. So in the everyday, in your everyday life, in everything that is stressing you and annoying you, you usually tend to forget or overlook the things that are good. And yeah, it reminds you of that. It's really nice. So the book did a lot.
yeah, I guess for me it's good if I don't even have the chance to have a midnight library, because then I don't have to make this choice. I am a person that always lives with regrets, and I'm always looking backwards as well. Like I'm not living in the past, but I'm always, depending on what my mood is, going either into the future, what I want to do, and or back and said, oh, should I have not done this? And because I am a person like that, and I have been a person like that all my life, also already as a child, I already so to say regretted things that I haven't done or couldn't do because I was too small, or things like that. And it's a weird thing. It's not a good thing as a child. So that's why the best thing is not to think about it. For me, I guess I would do things a different way. I would choose a different life, and then in the end I would regret it, because I always regret it. So so best thing is to stay here, go the way that we can go, because there are always choices that we make. It's always like either so to say, loads of people think, okay, I don't have a choice whether I go left or right, but you do. Even if you keep standing, you made the choice to keep standing and not left or right. And actually, also, although I said that I always have regrets, I still don't regret the things that I have been doing. So it's like I accept the choices that I made, because as Claudia and also as Anne said, all of the good things that came out with all of the negative things that might have been there, the good things count, because you keep them in your life, and the rest is experience. And so you go further. And if you regret something, as we can see also with Nora, we don't know how it will turn out. So I'd rather have the knowledge of the people that I met, the places I have lived in, and the experiences that I have made there that were crucial for me in my life, that could have been completely different for other people that did the same decision and the same life, so to say. I'd rather have that than the uncertainty of what if I had made this perfect decision, which could have come out completely different in the end, because life is not perfect. And
you never know. You never know what would have really happened.
Yeah.
So and Nora is saying, oh, I would do this and this, and let's change that. But in the end, the life that she then experienced was a long way to whatever anyone could desire.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, so to say, also like probably what most of people, like, you know, I think our free opinions about it are like roughly probably what most of the people that read this book will be like, because we have 3 different ways of thinking about it. But I also like that Anna said, well, I guess I would have ended up here anyway, just in a different environment, because that shows that you always had like an inner compass. You knew where you wanted to go, even if you regretted something. In the end, you know, your way was, you had a way, in a way. And I always like that when I hear that, because I did not have that. I have like 1,000 of things that I want to do, and all of them cannot be crammed into one life. So it's like you never know which way you're ending up. Yeah, I think that's a nice finish for our talk as well. Any other thing that we may not have been talking about that you just want to throw into the room now that you still have the chance?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
Anna, there is a finger.
Another thing, I wouldn't want to switch into another life and just fumble around in the dark in a strange life that feels like a shoe worn by a different person, and navigate all this stuff I don't know for a year or so until I'm comfortable enough in this life. I would hate that.
Yeah.
You know, we know each other. Sorry, amnesia.
Like your best friend, and so who is that? Or with a neighbor in the last life where she's kicking out the neighbor. Oh my god. Oops.
Yeah. I can
that would suck.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
was a dog. Sorry.
Yeah. But this is exactly what. Yeah, I can completely understand this, because it was one of the, also connected to, you know, the negative points that I had, because I felt so uncomfortable with this as well, reading this, right? When you're, exactly, you know, this is your best friend, and you actually don't know what's connecting you. You don't know why she is your best friend, or I don't know, your husband. I think this is like, oh my god, to lie with someone in the same bed, and you don't know who is this.
You're waking up in a bed with a person, or maybe you just had, I don't know, sex, and or they had, and you wake up as that person. So
that's like, and you never,
or the other way, like imagine you're kind of, I don't know, you're heterosexual, and then you wake up, and in that life you're gay, and it's like
the other way around.
Oops, or the other thing around. It's like, adapt to that.
Yeah.
But it might be interesting as well. Yeah. So.
Well, you could say that. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, if the girl is really hot, you can swap out the dresses and the shoes. That's cool.
Yeah. Always see the positive side. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not from my side. I'm happy I read that book. I really liked it.
I'm happy that we all actually enjoyed it. It would have been bad if someone really thought like, oh my god, it was like such hard work to get through it. But even that would have been allowed in our book club that still has no name. It will have a name. I promise. We are working on it. We just need like brain space to think about it. I'm happy that we had Anne with us this time. Maybe next time she will be there as well. We will tell her what the next book is, but we will not tell you. So this was our buddy read for March, Matt Haig's Midnight Library. Our conclusion is read it and make up your own mind, and you will probably have a good feeling about yourself or your own life and the value of your own life after that. So with that we say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.